To manage light in photography, you need to understand the characteristics of the light you are working with. Then plan the photo to take advantage of that light. This means, depending on the nature of the light, you need to make decisions about the camera settings, where you are shooting from, and what you are shooting. Your light source may be either natural, that is from the sun, or artificial, from lighting or a camera flash. Natural light can vary depending on the time of day and location. Early morning light is different to midday, and light filtered through tree cover is different to light without shadows. Photographs are made by light hitting a photosensitive surface, such as film or pixels in a digital camera. Sensitometry is a study of the way the photosensitive surfaces react to light. This response can be affected by different factors, including the subject, exposure, blackness, scatter, Callier coefficient, and the characteristic curve. Parts of the subject can vary in brightness and color. Exposure can be varied to control duration and intensity of light. Blackness refers to the parts of the image that stops reflection of light onto the photosensitive surface. To plan and manage a photograph, you need to consider and decide on the components to be included in the photo. Then, make decisions about the light sources to be employed. When light hits an object or substance without being fully reflected, scattered, or absorbed, that is called transmission. Opacity is the extent to which something blocks light. You can change the opacity of layers, filters, and effects so that more or less of the underlying image shows through. Density is a logarithm of the opacity. Density always increases as blackness increases. The measure of density is the most used measure of blackness. As light moves through a negative piece of film, it can be scattered. Light can also be scattered when it passes through any transparent surface, such as water, a glass window, or a camera lens. This is a ratio, never greater than 1, of specular density to diffuse density of light. This means it is a ratio that measures the type of light reflected. Specular is light reflected back from a smooth surface, and diffuse is light reflected from a rough surface. They both appear differently to the eye. For example, if driving at night in the wet, the glare from oncoming vehicles is more intense. This is because the water on the road provides a smooth surface, increasing the specular density. When dry, there is less glare because the surface is rough, and the diffuse density is much greater. A characteristic curve is a graphical representation of a film's response to light. Management of lighting is an essential skill in photography. To manage light properly requires planning a photograph before it is taken. You need to consider how you want the subject matter of the photograph to be lit. What is the focal point or main thing that you want people to see? This might be a face, or perhaps just part of a face, or perhaps a building or part of a building. The intensity, color, and direction of light hitting various components may create shadows and make some parts of the image stand out more or less than what they perhaps do in real life. In this way, by managing the light, the photographer can have a strong influence upon the image that is created. Stronger light will obviously make the focal point more prominent. If using natural light, you can manipulate the light source by choosing to photograph at different times of day, or by using things to block or reflect the natural light. This can be in the form of reflectors, negative fill, but also the cover of trees. If using artificial light, you can choose the color intensity and positioning of any light source.